I am setting up a saltwater aquarium. Yes, you heard that right. If you guys remember a few months ago, I did an unboxing video on the Reef Crest 35 all-in-one aquarium. So if you're not familiar with this tank or what I'm about to show you, or if you didn't see the previous videos that Jen did on this is called the Reef Crest. If you're not familiar with it, make sure you watch that video or simply go to artfullyacrylic.com, as they are the guys that made this. Since then, we went ahead and built a pedestal stand, which I also did a do-it-yourself how-to video on it.
I went with a pedestal style stand. Now these style stands have the appearance of being one piece, generally having no doors, and are made to be flush with the aquarium.
If you guys also remember, it seemed as though I was going back and forth between what I wanted to do with it, whether I would go salt or fresh. And to be honest, one week I would want to do fresh and the next I would want to do salt. I had to make my mind up. I decided that the Reef Crest simply deserves to be salt, although it looks fantastic as a freshwater tank as well. Given that it's a drop-off aquarium, it adds a new dynamic to the tank, yet also brings a challenge to aquascaping. And if you guys know me, I'm not the greatest aquascaper. Now, why is the tank currently empty? A very simple reason. My wife recently ordered new furniture for the living room and it will be here by the end of the month. But that means that this is not going to be fitting into the living room anymore and I'm going to have to move it into my office. However, my office is currently going through renovations. Not only did I recently set up the 375-gallon monster tank with the Aragonite, but also the 370-gallon in-wall goldfish tank. However, there's a couple of other tanks going in there that you guys haven't seen yet, including my planted tank and a new cichlid tank build. I guess you could say that my office is going to have a little bit of everything. But that doesn't mean I can't start planning for this tank now and buying supplies. So today's video is going to be about showing you what I've done so far and some future plans and aspirations for this tank. But most importantly, I really want to get your guys' feedback on what you think I should do. So when it comes to a saltwater tank, the first couple of things that I think about is the substrate as well as the rock. Saltwater tanks are obviously widely known for their live rock. However, based on the predicament that I'm in and I can't necessarily set the tank up right now, I needed to explore other options. Now I could have purchased live rock and cured it until I was ready to set the tank up. However, once again, I'm not that great of an aquascaper and I really felt as though I really needed to kind of practice with the aquascape, get it to how I like it, and then set it up. So what I did go with was a dry rock, just like this one here. Now when it comes to dry rock, the benefits are really that you are guaranteed no pests. It's also dry and not live, so I'm able to play around with it in aquascape and make sure I get it exactly the way I want first. Now I'm not saying dry rock is the best way to go, I'm saying that it was the best decision for me. So I went ahead and picked up 50 pounds of Marco rock. Now, I must say in advance that I have no affiliation with that company and I didn't even know they existed until I was searching for rock in Canada. Now, when it comes to the aquarium hobby, everything is really all about availability. And what I was looking for is I wanted to go with a dry rock that looked really good and was really white in appearance. I thought that using white sand and white rock, at least to start out, would look amazing against the blacked out tank. The interesting thing that I found out later on is that these are also environmentally friendly. Now, if my memory serves me correct, these are actually coral skeletons, collected in places like Florida, where I believe it used to be covered by the ocean. So this technically used to be coral, except now it's just farmed out of the earth. Now obviously I went with this for a number of reasons. It was dry, it's actually relatively inexpensive, I got 50 pounds for about $2.50 a pound, it's lightweight, and it's white. Pretty much exactly what I needed. Now others will argue that I should have got this or should have got that, but again, it just comes down to availability, and this was essentially the only thing available that suited my needs. Not that I'm displeased with it, I'm extremely happy with it. The downside is that it only came in boulders. Now they do sell different shapes and sizes like shelves and flat pieces, but where I got it from didn't have any available. which is fine because this is light enough for me to be able to chisel it apart and break it into whatever sizes I want. We'll come back to that in a second though. I also wanted to get white sand, or at least close to as white as I could. So I got some Aragonite sand, in sugar grain size, and it's meant for a saltwater aquarium. Now typically I would just go ahead and jump to pool filtration sand because it's dirt cheap and it is white as well. However, the grain size on this is much smaller and the elements within the Aragonite will benefit a saltwater tank. So really that's all I got so far was the sand as well as the rock. But I got those two for a very specific purpose. I'm going to be able to aquascape the tank and get it exactly as I want to get it before I move any further. Now I have kind of been playing around with aquascaping, but for the most part I've been putting in some old pillowcases to protect the acrylic and then piling in some rock here and there. The first thing that I realized that I needed to do is I'm going to have to reshape a lot of this rock. Like I said, it all came in boulder sizes, which would be great for a regular typical tank. However, with the drop-off tank, what I'm envisioning doing is having a shelf coming out from the top ledge and overhanging over the rest, potentially having a bunch of other smaller rocks cover the front panel to hide the black, while having lots of open swimming space here. I don't really know how I'm going to accomplish this, but I do know as soon as I move this down into my office, I will begin playing around with the scape. So what am I thinking about for plans for this tank? Well, obviously I'm starting out very basic. Just some regular sand and some dry rock. Why? Because I'm thinking that I want the tank to evolve into whatever it's going to become over time. Meaning that I'm just going to start off with sand and rock as well as fish, and if I decide I want to start slowly upgrading and getting into some coral and turning it into a reef tank, I can. But I thought it would be more interesting for myself as well as you to kind of start from the beginning and potentially lead up to a reef. Again, I'm all for letting aquariums naturally evolve on their own. Now there's a lot more that I have to do for this tank besides just the sand as well as the rock. I will need some lighting, I potentially might need a protein skimmer, but the tank did come with 2 pumps, so circulation is already covered. Now what to do for equipment has kind of got me excited. I think what I will do for lighting is have a pendant style lighting. I will most likely get a protein skimmer and then using this drawer, potentially use it to fill it up with water and it serve as an auto top off to replace any evaporated water from the main tank. As for fish, obviously the go-to would be a pair of clownfish. This tank would be great for them. However, I'd like to know what you guys think I should get for fish and what would really go well for life in this tank. I'm highly attracted to the idea of having a schooling fish in here that stays small and I can get a few of them. Or potentially have a mixture of a bunch of different fish. Obviously only being about 35 gallons, I can't go too heavy into stocking. So when can you really expect for me to set up this tank? Well, it's most likely going to be a while, potentially a couple of months or so. But I really wanted to tell you this now because I've been sitting on this rock for over a month and I've been entirely excited to simply say, I'm getting a saltwater tank. But also doing this really slowly allows me to not get in too deep financially with this tank. Purchasing a little bit here and there is a lot easier for me than getting it all at once. With that said, there's a couple of other tank builds that you guys will see before this one, so there's plenty of time for us to discuss the overall outcome of this tank and what we're going to do with it. I will admit that my inspiration for this tank comes and goes almost day by day. Sometimes I know exactly what I want to do, and the next day I have no clue what I want to do. So I would truly appreciate it if you guys shared your ideas and comments or even suggestions in the comment section below. I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about today. I guess I just kind of wanted to announce that this tank is coming and prove that I already have the rock and things are slowly coming together for it. If I did miss anything or if you have any questions, be sure to leave them below. So I guess that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, but if you didn't, join me next Thursday and I'll have something different for you.